was born with my family's great expectation that I would be a boy. But of course, contrary to it, I'm not a boy, I'm a girl, a true girl. However, there was something I think is both from me, inside me, and from my family's expectation that has made me to grow up in a way seeming like a boy. I had a middling hair, a very short hair when I was in kindergarten and primary school. In fact, my mom told me that when I was in the first grade, a girl fell in love with me because she thought I was a boy. That's interesting. I was mischievous and bad-tempered. I sometimes fought like a tire with some boys in my class because they drove me crazy. And I hated all the kinds of differences between the ways people treat a boy and a girl, a man and a woman. I thought they were all the unfair treatment of people who belong to different genders. And I hated the way people said, all of you girls don't need to learn much. All the lives are getting married and giving birth. I hated the fact that the ones who have to wash dishes and tidy up after a party of my big family were me, my sisters, my mom, my aunts, not our boys and men. And I hated that my mom reminded me of my sitting posture. And I refused when a boy wanted to help me with my heavy luggage. To me, we are all humans, and I wanted to behave in the way others do, and I wanted to be treated in the way others are, no less, no more. And I wanted to do all the things that a man is expected to do: be successful, be strong physically and psychologically. It's me in the past. Now my mind has changed a little bit. Though I obviously still don't support the idea that men are better than women. I think the universe created men and women for some certain purposes. I think men are born to do some certain things, and so are with women. Of course, those things are not washing dishes and tidying up. This notion was more confirmed after I watched a TED Talk video named Men and Women in Ukrainian Conflict. The speaker is Taylor Lind, a journalist. She arrived in Ukraine to report about the Ukrainian conflict, the conflict between the police loyal to the government and the citizens dissatisfied with its foreign policy. A part of her work was setting up a makeshift portrait studio on the street near the Independence Square where the protesters occupied, and asking them for photograph each of them against a black curtain. The protesters, the men who were prepared for battle, the men wearing improvised body armor, elaborate costume, their ideal, their masculinity expressed outwardly. Confrontations intensified and reached its peak on a day that became known as Bloody Thursday, the day police attacked the protesters, and many were killed. As the days passed, streams of people poured in the square in an act of collective mourning. There was noticeable absence of women up until that point, but then they turned up and carried flowers to lay as tributes at the square. Taylor Lynn asked for photographing them in the same way she did with the warriors. Most of them cried when the journalists took their photos. The bright colors of those women's handbags, of their coats, and of many kinds of flowers they carried, conflicted with the blackened square and the blackened men encamping there. The journalists had two sets of photos, one of men and one of women in the Ukrainian conflict. She saw clearly how two of them fitted each other. Each of them were much sense without the other. They told the different They told the different gender roles in conflict, not only in Ukraine. Men fight most wars and women mourn them. If Taylor Lynn said, in particular, the roles of each gender in conflict, I want to mention it in general. The different gender roles in our life. Man was born to be the stronger, the ones take responsibility for the hard work, and the rest of the world are the ones more emotional who make this life more romantic and artistic. These two parts make this world a completely perfect match. But they are not two absolutely different subjects sharing no overlap. A man can be emotional and a woman can be a strong one. That even make them more wonderful. I want to be that type of woman. Feminine but brave, romantic but realistic, emotional but rational. Thank you.
Very good.